Hello, welcome to the Trails Radio Show. Thank you for joining us this evening. We'll be right back with our special guest. Thank you, and join us in a minute. Okay, my first question to you is, how did you get started in the voiceover industry? How did your career begin?
It probably began when I was in college, but I didn't know it. I couldn't figure out what to major in until I happened to come across drama. I was at University of California, Davis, and it just seemed like, oh, look, we just build sets and turn lights on and off and do your lines, and that seems so practical compared to some of the majors I was running into. And I want to do that. I have no idea what I'm going to do with it, but I ended up liking it a lot. And then I kept working in other fields. I was working summers at the time for the National Park Service way up in northeastern California as a firefighter and then a park ranger. And at one point, one of my major professors said, hey, I can get you a job as a stage manager at the American Conservatory Theater in San Francisco. You interested? And it felt like I was standing at a major crossroads in my life. and I said, no, I think I'm going to stick with the outdoor sports. So I ended up having a 35-year career with first the national parks and then with public lands the Bureau of Land Management takes care of, and then the last 20 years with U.S. Forest Service in Montana. And I did take time out in the middle of all of that. When I turned 30, I thought, yeah, God, I really have to be acting. What am I doing? And so I quit my federal job at the time and tried acting at a place called Actors Lab, Arizona, which is in Scottsdale then. And I went for about a year and then realized that I needed to eat more than I needed to act, and that acting wasn't paying much money. So I went back to the national parks and then finally retired about 10 years ago. And my wife is a professor at UNLV in Las Vegas. So I moved down here. And you still there? Yeah. So I moved down here, and she handed me a catalog from UNLV's continuing ed program and said, here, find something to do while you're retired. And there was this voiceover class, and this was like November 2009. And I thought, oh, what's voiceover? And then I realized, oh, you don't have to memorize the lines. You don't have to wear a costume. There's no makeup, no dancing. That's good. And because I was getting to the point where I couldn't quite remember why I was in the kitchen half the time. So not having to learn lines was a good thing.
Yeah, that's the great thing about voice acting. You know, the script's right in front of you. So
yeah. I still make mistakes, even though it's right in front of me. But there it is. So I started studying in Las Vegas and with one instructor, and then found maybe a year later or so, I moved to another instructor who is named Melissa Moats, and Melissa has been kind of my muse ever since. She's started the Voice Actors Studio here in Vegas, and about 4 years ago, and I've been helping out by teaching some classes there and taking other classes, while running my own little business out of my home studio. By the way, is that clock noise coming through? Is that a problem? I can go somewhere else and you can repeat.
No, I don't hear anything, so we're good.
Okay, good. Okay. I wasn't sure if you were recording this or not.
My next question to you is, what is the most challenging part for you being in the industry, in the voiceover industry?
The most challenging part is when I'm in between gigs. If the pipeline goes dry for a bit, especially with audiobooks, then I start to get a little stir crazy, and I start thinking, maybe am I really doing this, or is this just is it fake? Is it real? And then all that goes away once I get the next book. So I calm down, but that is challenging. Just keeping yourself mentally focused when you're a one-man operation, one-person operation.
Yeah.
which is why I really like the Voice Actor Studio as a place to interact with people, because that's so important, and it's really easy to get isolated in your booth.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's good when you meet other people who are in the industry and have the same interests in voice acting, because you can learn from them and they can learn from you. It's always good to keep...
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Good to talk shop.
Oh, yeah. My next question to you is, do you have any upcoming voiceover projects? Do you have anything upcoming you can share?
I'm just wrapping up a book. Just 1 second. Let me get the data up here. I want to make sure I get the title right, because sometimes I get the title off. Oh, yeah. It's called Technology Fallacy. It's a nonfiction book that I did for Tantor, and I'm waiting for the proofers to finish their work and hand me the list of things that I need to revoice. And then I've been auditioning for audiobooks, but I've also got a trip coming up at the end of the month, so my schedule's will be a little skewed until we get done with the trip, and then I'll be back in a more regular cycle.
Yeah. Well, it's good to stay busy, especially if you love doing voiceovers,
Yeah, exactly. I've got a number of classes to teach at the Voice Actor Studio. I'm teaching one this Sunday on how to use Twisted Wave, the Mac software, to produce a book at ACX. So I'm going to help people confront their first audiobook project and how to do that without getting lost and buried in the avalanche of data that happens.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good to stay up to date with this technology because it seems like it changes every day.
It does, yeah.
Yeah, and you have to keep up with it because most of it, that's how you do the voice acting work.
Yeah. The other new thing coming for me is later this summer I'm going to take delivery of a new recording booth from an outfit called Gretsch Ken. They're in Lakeview, Oregon, and I bought their 4x4 double-walled booth, which will be a nice step up from the curtain in the closet. And I'm hoping it'll help me to deal with some private aircraft noise that we get occasionally when the nearby executive airport gets busy on the weekends.
Yeah, it's always good to have a good sound stage or a good sound booth,
Yeah, but you can't get them until you can afford them, so you gotta you make it good, and then you make it better later.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I've done voice acting myself, but I mostly do radio. I've been in radio for 6 years and done voice acting, and I've done stage acting. It's all fun to me though, but it always comes back to radio for me,
Sure. I was in radio briefly in a small town in Montana back in the days when they had vinyl records and were just transitioning to cassettes and then CDs. But that was back in the day when if you knocked the one wire that kept everything on the air, the board went dead, which happened a few times.
Talk about a kill switch, It's just...
Yeah, it's just a simple little alligator clip came loose and we were done.
My last question to you is, what is your advice to people who want to get into the voiceover industry?
First of all, be prepared for practice and study because you are learning a whole new set of muscle memory that has to do with how you can sound, well, among many things, how you can sound conversational while talking to a microphone, how you can even deal with those sorts of electronics in your home, and learning the different styles of delivery that each genre has, whether it's promos compared to audiobooks compared to e-learning, there's a different flavor for each, and you need to give yourself time to understand and appreciate and be able to execute those differences. And I think that's what surprises most new people, is that you can't just learn it in a 4-week, one night a week thing. It takes at least 6 to 8 to 9 months of pretty intensive study, and then a lifetime of continuing study after that. And unless somebody's been in theater or film or television and knows about how actors train all the time, that can be a surprising piece of news.
Yeah. Yeah, you have
and
to.
I also suggest to people that they keep a list of the questions that come up, knowing that they may not be able to ask them or even understand the answers for a while. So I have them keep a list of performance things, tech things, and business issues. And you don't need to know the answers to all of them the first day. And some of them you won't know about until the second or third year. But keep track of all the things you're starting to wonder about, because I think the most vulnerable position is for somebody who's brand new, who doesn't realize that they have huge gaps in their knowledge and that they don't know what they don't know. Mm-hmm. They start stepping out and they end up stepping on their own toes and don't realize it for a while. And it costs them time, and it also can damage reputations that takes a while to then overcome. You hear people talk about newbies, and you know, it happens in any profession where somebody's brand new and goes charging out. But in voiceover, because we're each operating as independent businesses, it's really important to take a little extra time so that you really understand what this world you're working in is about and what clients want and what you can deliver and what's realistic.
Yeah, you have to give it all you got, you know. You have to be professional, because it is a tough business, you know. That's why they call it business.
Sure. Yeah,
but
that's right.
Yeah, but, you know, you have to be in it if you really have the passion for it, you know, if you're enjoying it. You know, if you're not enjoying it, then why are you even in the business, you know?
Right, yeah. It's a tough way to pay bills unless you... Somebody had a great quote today. What was it? I need to pull that up too. Just a second. I want to make sure I get it right. Yeah, I saw it by a fellow named Nigel Peaver, who's a audiobook narrator in the United Kingdom. And on one of the Facebook sites today, he said, sometimes it takes years to be an overnight success. I thought that was brilliant.
Yeah, that is pretty clever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Mr. Jack, it's been a pleasure talking to you, and thank you for letting me interview you, and thank you very much.
Sure. Give me a holler when it's on your blog, and I'll take a look.
Yeah, I'll send you a link, for sure.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
And that was voice actor Mr. Jack Golia. Thank you very much for listening, and God bless you all.